What if everything you thought was a lie? A hidden network, secret codes, and a conspiracy that shook the internet? Was Pizzagate a wild hoax or a chilling reality? Join me as we dive deep into the evidence, the cover-ups, and the shocking truth they don't want you to know. Stay till the end, because what we uncover might just change everything. Chapter 1. The Emails That Shook the World. It's November 2016, and the United States is a ticking time bomb. The presidential election pits Hillary Clinton against Donald Trump in a showdown that's already drenched in venom and suspicion. The air crackles with tension. Every whisper of scandal could tip the scales. Then, out of the digital abyss, a thunderclap. WikiLeaks unleashes thousands of emails hacked from John Podesta, Clinton's campaign chairman. This isn't just a data dump, it's a detonation. These emails, conspiracy believers swear, aren't mundane chatter. They're a cryptic ledger, laced with coded messages that point to something so heinous it defies comprehension. A child trafficking ring orchestrated by the elite. Words like pizza, hot dogs, and cheese leap off the screen in context that twist the stomach. But why now, just days before the election? Was someone racing against time to rip the mask off a monstrous secret? This is where the shadows start to speak, and every word might be a clue. Let's rewind to the chaos of late 2016. The election is a gladiator arena. Clinton and Trump trading blows, the nation split down the middle. Into this maelstrom plunges WikiLeaks, the rogue outfit helmed by Julian Assange, a man who thrives on shattering secrets. On October 7th, they begin releasing Podesta's emails, tens of thousands of them, stolen from his private account. It's a deluge of campaign memos, donor lists, and personal exchanges. But buried in the noise, something catches the eye of online sleuths. Repeated bizarre references to a place called Comet Ping Pong, a pizzeria in Washington, D.C. Fundraisers, casual mentions. Why does a pizza joint keep popping up in a political operative's inbox? Then there's the language. One email mentions a handkerchief with a pizza-related map. Another offers pizza for an hour. To the untrained eye, it's nonsense, random snippets of a busy man's life. But to those peering through the lens of conspiracy, it's dynamite. They claim these aren't innocent words. Pizza, they whisper, means young girls. Hot dogs stand for young boys. Cheese and pasta, more coded horrors. This isn't a hunch pulled from thin air. Theorists point to alleged patterns in underground networks, insisting the elite are flaunting their crimes in plain sight. The Podesta emails aren't just a leak, they're a confession if you know how to read between the lines. Now, zoom in on Comet Ping Pong. Tucked away in a quiet DC neighborhood, it's a funky spot. Think wood-fired pizzas, ping pong tables, and live music. Unassuming, right? Except its owner, James Alefantis, isn't your average restaurateur. He's wired into the Democratic elite, a friend to Podesta and a stone's throw from Clinton's inner circle. In 2012, GQ crowned him one of DC's 50 most influential people. For Pizza Guy, that's a head-scratcher, and to believers, a neon sign screaming cover-up. The emails only fan the flames. Alefantis writes to Podesta about being in the torture chamber, a weird quip that sounds sinister. Another message dangles pizza for an hour as a thank you. Harmless banter? Or a brazen hint at something unspeakable? Dig deeper and the unease grows. Alefantis' old Instagram posts, since scrubbed, showed kids in odd setups, paired with captions that chill the blood. Art linked to the place veered into dark, ritualistic territory. Coincidence? Theorists don't buy it. To them, Comet Ping Pong isn't a pizzeria, it's a front, a hub for horrors masked by marinara and mozzarella. Here's where it gets electric. The emails didn't trickle out months earlier. They hit mere days before voters went to the polls. Clinton's campaign was already wobbling under FBI probes and trust issues. Why drop this now? The timing is a puzzle that conspiracy minds race to solve. Was this a calculated strike to kneecap her chances? Or, more tantalizingly, was it frantic SOS from someone who'd seen too much? Imagine it. A whistleblower, maybe an insider sick of the silence, pushing the nuclear button to expose a trafficking ring woven into the fabric of power. The stakes couldn't be higher, the clock couldn't tick louder. WikiLeaks itself adds fuel to the fire. Assange crew has a track record. Think Snowden, think Panama Papers. They're no strangers to shaking the world. But this feels different, raw, like they've stumbled onto a live wire. Are they crusaders, hell-bent on unveiling a nightmare? Or puppets in a chess game too vast to fathom? Either way, their role turns the email drop into a seismic event, one that's still echoing. Let's zero in on those messages. That pizza-related map, handkerchief? A realtor emails Podesta about finding it, and he shrugs it off, doesn't know if it's his. Quirky, sure, but what if it's not a map of DC streets? What if it's a marker, a sick souvenir from a trafficking deal? Then there's pizza for an hour, a casual offer, or a timestamp for something rented by the minute. Theorists see a pattern. These words aren't random. They're a lexicon only the guilty would grasp, a secret handshake in digital ink. Every odd phrase becomes a breadcrumb. Hot dogs at a fundraiser with no food context. Cheese in a sentence that twists unnaturally. The deeper you dive, the more it feels like a code breaking open, a Rosetta Stone for a shadow empire. Believers don't just suspect, they know. The emails are a dare, a taunt from predators who think they're untouchable. Chapter 2. Comet Ping Pong, the Sinister Hub. Imagine a sleepy corner of Washington, D.C., a neighborhood of brick row houses and flickering streetlights, with a hum of daily life drones on. Nestled among it all is Comet Ping Pong, a pizzeria that, at first glance, seems plucked from a family sitcom. Ping pong tables scatter across the floor, the scent of bubbling cheese hanging in the air, kids darting between booths. It's quirky, cozy, innocent, or so you'd think, because beneath the surface, beneath the laughter and the clatter of paddles, lurks something far less wholesome. At least, that's what the believers insist. To them, this isn't just a restaurant. It's a facade, a mask, a hub where the powerful play games far darker than ping pong. And once you peek behind the curtain, there's no going back. Meet James Alefantis, the man at the helm. He's not your typical pizza slinger, greasy apron, flour-dusted hands. No, this guy's different. In 2012, GQ magazine slapped him on their list of CS 50 most powerful people. Stop and think about that. A pizzeria owner sharing the spotlight with senators, lobbyists, and kingmakers? That's not normal. That's a neon sign flashing something's up. Alefantis doesn't just know people, he knows the people. John Podesta, Clinton insiders, the upper crust of the DC elite. How does a guy peddling pepperoni climb that high? Believers don't shrug it off as charm or hustle. They see strings connecting him to a web of power that's too tight, too convenient to be coincidence. And then there's his name, James Alefantis. Say it slow. Some theorists hear echoes of James Les Enfants, French for I love children. A chilling coincidence? Or a twisted Easter egg? A taunt from a man who knows we're watching? It's the kind of detail that sticks in your throat, that gnaws at you late at night. Because if you're looking for clues, this is where they start piling up. Now, let's dig into what set the conspiracy ablaze. Alefantis Instagram. Before he yanked it offline, his feed was a fever dream of unease. Photos of kids, some taped to tables, others posed awkwardly with cash or odd props, stared out from the screen. Captions like hashtag chicken lovers dangled beneath images of men cradling babies. To the untrained eye, it might pass as eccentric humor, the kind of weirdness artsy types love. But to Pizzagate believers, it's a cipher. Chicken lovers. Code, they say, slang for pedophiles, a secret handshake in pixel form. That taped up kid? Not a prank. A trophy. A confession. Then there's the art he shared. Paintings of severed heads, dolls torn apart, masks that could haunt your nightmares. One post showed a man with a decapitated skull, grinning like he'd won a prize. This isn't the stuff you hang in a family joint, not unless you're sending a message. And when Pizzagate broke, what did Alefantis do? He didn't explain. He didn't laugh it off. He scrubbed it all, every post, every trace gone. Innocent men don't run. Guilty ones do. Step inside Comet Ping Pong, and the vibe shifts. The walls are alive with murals, vivid, chaotic splashes of paint by artist Arrington de Dionyso. Masked figures leer from the corners. Birds with human eyes perch over scenes that twist your gut. One piece shows a scythe-wielding shadow hovering near what could be a child. Another hints at symbols, pentagrams, occult nods that theorists tie to Moloch, a deity of sacrifice. Satanic? Maybe. Suggestive? Definitely. To believers, it's not art, it's a billboard. A way for the elite to flaunt their rituals, to rub it in our faces while we munch on mozzarella sticks. Why decorate a pizzeria like this? Why choose images that scream look closer? The answer to the conspiracy crowd is simple. They're not hiding. They're daring us to see. Pair that with Alephantis Instagram, and the picture sharpens. This isn't a restaurant. It's a gallery of hints, a playground for the perverse, dressed up as a quirky hangout. And now, the centerpiece, the basement. Officially, Comet Ping Pong has no basement. Alephantis says it himself. Nothing down there but pipes and concrete. But the believers scoff. They've got emails, leaked Podesta exchanges mentioning the basement in hushed tones. They've got Alephantis' own words, caught in interviews, slipping about storage downstairs. They've even got blueprints, or so they claim, fish from the depths of the internet, showing a hidden level beneath the floorboards. And then there's that email, pizza for an hour. What's cooking down there? Dough, or something that'd make your blood run cold. To Pizzagate followers, the basement isn't a myth, it's the heart of the horror. A secret lair beneath the ping pong tables, where the elite slink away to indulge. Tunnels, they whisper. Chambers, a network stretching beyond these walls. Alephantis denies it. Sure, but denials mean nothing when the posts vanish, when the art stares back, when the connections pile up. If there's no basement, why does it feel so real? Why does it haunt every corner of this story? Pull back the lens. Comet Ping Pong looks like a pizzeria, smells like one, sounds like one. But to those who believe, it's a lie. A stage. Alephantis, with his elite ties and scrub secrets, isn't just a host, he's a gatekeeper. His Instagram wasn't a scrapbook, it was a signal. The murals aren't decor, they're markers. And that basement, real or not, is the void where the truth festers. Every oddity, every red flag, builds a case too tight to dismiss. Is this quirky DC spot the epicenter of a child trafficking ring? The believers scream yes, pointing to their clues like prosecutors in a courtroom. They see the elite laughing, mocking us with every slice served, every game played. And maybe they're onto something. In a city of power, where shadows cast long and ugly webs, who's to say what's impossible? Comet Ping Pong stands there, unassuming, waiting. But the question lingers. What's really on the menu? Chapter 3. The Elite Network Unraveled. The camera pans across a dimly lit room, shadows twisting like conspirators in the dark. A corkboard dominates the wall, a chaotic collage of photographs, red strings, and scribbled notes. At its heart, three faces: James Alephantis, John Podesta, Hillary Clinton, linked by lines that pulse with suspicion. This isn't just a random trio. It's the epicenter of a storm that's been brewing in the shadows, a conspiracy so explosive it could topple empires. The plot thickens as the web of connections comes into focus, pulling in politicians, celebrities, and power brokers. Believers see coded emails as proof of a trafficking ring. Whispers of QAnon elevate the stakes, and names like Justin Bieber and Elon Musk drift into the frame. Welcome to the Elite Network, a chilling game of cat and mouse where every .you connect reveals a darker truth. Picture it: James Alephantis, a pizzeria owner with a guest list that sparkles with DC's elite. John Podesta, the political maestro steering Clinton's campaign with a steely grip. And Hillary Clinton herself, a titan whose name echoes through decades of power plays. On their own, they're notable. Together, they're a triangle of suspicion that's too close for comfort. Alephantis isn't just flipping pizzas, He's emailing Podesta about pizza for an hour. Podesta's ties to Clinton are ironclad, decades deep. And Clinton? Her shadow looms over every thread believers tug. Why does a pizza joint keep cropping up in political circles? Why do these names orbit each other so tightly? To the conspiracy crowd, it's no accident. It's a signal, a coordinated ring hiding behind the facade of power and privilege. The connections don't stop there. They sprawl like a spider's web, snagging more names. Tony Podesta, John's brother, a lobbyist with a penchant for eerie art, paintings of children that make your skin crawl. Politicians, donors, insiders, all linked by threads believers swear aren't coincidence. Each name is a pin on the corkboard, each string a step closer to the truth. The elite network isn't just a theory, it's a living, breathing beast, and it's watching. Now, let's dive into the evidence that fuels the fire. Those Podesta emails, a leaked trove that reads like a cipher to the initiated. To the untrained eye, they're dull, campaign chatter, dinner plans. But believers see something else. Take one email. A realtor tells Podesta about a handkerchief with a pizza-related map. Podesta shrugs it off. It's mine, but not worth worrying about. Innocent? Hardly. To the conspiracy crowd, handkerchief isn't a napkin. It's code, a marker for something traded in the dark. And a pizza-related map? That's no recipe. It's a blueprint, a guide to trafficking routes or secret rendezvous. The words are too strange, too loaded, to be casual. It's not just one email. Terms like pizza, cheese, hot dogs pop up again and again, each one a breadcrumb in a trail of horror. Believers argue it's a secret language, a dialect only the guilty speak. Why else use such odd phrasing? Why else dodge straight answers? It's a taunt, a wink to a network that thrives in plain sight, cloaked in words we think we know. The more you dig, the more it feels like they're daring you to crack it, to see the grotesque reality behind the mundane. But Pizzagate isn't an island. It's a spark that ignites a wildfire, and QAnon is the wind fanning the flames. Emerging from the depths of the internet in 2017, QAnon takes Pizzagate and runs with it, framing it as a single piece in a global puzzle. To them, Comet Ping Pong isn't just a pizzeria, it's a hub in a worldwide cabal, a network of elites feasting on power and worse. QAnon whispers of satanic rituals, adrenochrome harvests, and a storm that'll purge the world of evil. Pizzagate becomes the tip of an iceberg, a gateway to a conspiracy so vast it swallows reason whole. The stakes skyrocket. It's not just about DC anymore, it's about humanity. QAnon believers see connections everywhere. Hollywood, Silicon Valley, governments toppled by the same shadowy hands. Pizzagate is the proof, the crack in the facade that reveals the war raging beneath. It's thrilling, terrifying, and utterly relentless, a narrative that hooks you and won't let go. To them, every clue is a battle cry, every revelation a step toward salvation. And then the plot twists again. The whispers grow louder, pulling in names that shock. Justin Bieber, the pop idol with a haunted gaze, steps into the spotlight. In 2020, he posts a video touching his hat, a nervous tick maybe, but believers pounce. It's a signal, a plea from a trapped soul. Hashtag Save Bieber trends on X. Fans convinced he's ensnared in the elite's web, victim or player, they can't decide. Then there's Elon Musk, the enigma who tweets about Pizzagate in 2023, a smirk in every character. Is he trolling? Or hinting at secrets he's seen? To the conspiracy crowd, it's a breadcrumb from a man who knows too much. These aren't outliers. They're threads in a tapestry that stretches across the globe. Why Bieber? Why Musk? Because believers say the network is everywhere. It's not just politicians, it's anyone with fame, wealth, or influence. The elite don't discriminate, they collect. And once you're in, there's no out. The whispers multiply, other celebrities, other moguls, all potential links in a chain that binds the powerful to the unthinkable. Is it real? Is Pizzagate the key to a network that controls the world? The conspiracy crowd doesn't doubt they know. The strings are taut, the shadows deep, and the game is on. The elite network waits, silent and sinister, ready for its next move. Chapter 4: Silenced by the Powerful. December 2016. Pizzagate isn't just a theory. It's a wildfire tearing through the digital underbrush. Online forums hum with fevered chatter, screenshots of cryptic emails, wild theories, raw fury. It's chaos, electric and unstoppable. Then, a man bursts into comet ping-pong, rifle in hand, driven by a desperate certainty that he'll unearth the proof, cages, kids, the whole nightmare. He finds nothing. No basement, no victims, just stunned staff and a pizza oven humming in the back. The police swarm, cuff him, and before the dust settles, the official line drops like a guillotine. It was all a hoax. Debunked. The DC police shrug it off. The FBI doesn't even glance over. Done deal. But to the believers, that's where it gets suspicious. Why no real investigation? Why not peel back the layers? John Podesta's leaked emails, James Alefantis' Instagram posts dripping with oddities. Those weren't secrets. They were public, begging for scrutiny. Yet the authorities didn't bite. It's too fast, too polished, like a crime scene wiped down before the cops even arrive. Theorists lean in close, their voices dropping. This isn't incompetence. It's a script. They've seen it before: Epstein, Savile, monsters cloaked by power until the cracks split wide. Pizzagate's the next domino, they swear, and the elite are scrambling to keep it standing. The police? Not guardians here, just gatekeepers, hands tied or paid to turn blind eyes. No evidence, they say. Believers hear a different tune. A vault bolted shut, with the truth pounding on the walls. It's not just the authorities pulling strings. The believers point to the shadows. Witnesses, whistleblowers, anyone who might crack the case open. They're going quiet. Too quiet. Take the Comet Ping Pong staff. After the gunman stunt, they vanish from the spotlight. No interviews, no statements, social media accounts scrubbed bare. Are they scared? Gagged by higher-ups? Then there's the online sleuths, the anonymous diggers who first sniffed out the email's weird code. Pizza, handkerchiefs, maps. Some disappear overnight. Accounts gone like smoke. Others pivot, suddenly chasing tamer rabbits. Why the retreat? The whispers grow darker. Threats. Cryptic messages in inboxes. Devices hacked. Lives quietly unraveled. It's a classic move, straight from the playbook of power. Silence the truth-tellers, by fear or force. And James Alefantis, the man at the center, he doesn't roar back, doesn't sue for defamation or waive proof of innocence. He fades into the background, a ghost behind the curtain. To the believers, that's damning. An innocent man fights, a guilty one hides. His silence isn't peace, it's a fortress, and the powerful are the walls holding it up. They don't need to argue. They just need time, letting the storm pass while the machine grinds on. Enter the media, the elite's loudest weapon. The headlines hit like artillery. Pizzagate debunked, conspiracy theory collapses, fake news sparks chaos. The New York Times, CNN, the whole brigade marches in lockstep. To the believers, it's no surprise, it's a choir singing off the same sheet. But where's the grit? Where's the deep dive, the relentless questioning good journalism demands? This isn't reporting, it's a shield, a wall of sound to smother the signal. Every debunked stamp feels like a dodge, every coincidence too tidy. The media is not clearing the air, they're kicking up dust. Snopes steps up, self-crowned arbiters of truth, slapping false on Pizzagate like a sticker on a file. Lack of evidence, they claim. Believers shoot back. What evidence did you chase? Did you sift through the emails, decode the art, probe the basement rumors? Or did you just nod at the police report and clock out? It's a cycle, a dance of denial. The media leans on the authorities lean on the media, and round it goes, a perfect bubble keeping the real questions out. To the theorists, it's not sloppy, it's surgical. Here's where the pulse quickens. Believers zero in on the stumbles, the moments the facade wavers. Alefantis, in a rare interview, fumbles the basement question. First, it doesn't exist. Then he's storing jars downstairs. A glitch in the lie? or a truth slipping free. Podesta, grilled on his emails, chuckles and sidesteps. That pizza map line, why not explain it? Kill the speculation? Because, they argue, there's no safe answer. The truth's a live wire, and they're tiptoeing around it. Then there's the art, Tony Podesta's collection, dark and brazen. Paintings of tied-up kids, sculptures that pulse with menace. It's not tucked away, it's displayed a taunt. Why? Believers clench their fists because they're untouchable. The elite flaunt it, daring the world to blink. When we do, the machine revs up, dismiss, debunk, demolish. It's not crazy, it's a pattern clear as bloodstains. Every no proof is another layer of concrete on the tomb they're building. Zoom out, and the stakes snap into focus. The authorities killed it quick, too quick. Witnesses fade, threats hiss through the night. The media spins a fairy tale of fake news, but their voices crack under the weight. This isn't a flimsy hoax getting swept away. It's a cover-up, vast and ruthless, guarding something real. Something terrifying. The powerful aren't defending a myth, they're caging a beast. And the silence? It's deafening, alive with the roar of a truth that won't stay buried. Chapter 5. The Rise of QAnon. It all began in October 2017, in the murky depths of 4chan, a notorious online forum where anonymity reigns and chaos thrives. A user calling themselves Q dropped a bombshell. They claimed to be a government insider with Q clearance, a real-world security level tied to the Department of Energy and Nuclear Secrets. This wasn't just some random troll. Q hinted at access to classified intel so explosive it could topple empires. Their mission? To expose a deep state conspiracy, a shadowy cabal of elites allegedly working to sabotage Donald Trump and his supporters. Q's posts, dubbed Q drops, were anything but straightforward. They were riddles wrapped in enigmas, vague enough to spark endless speculation, yet tantalizing enough to hook followers instantly. Lines like the calm before the storm or trust the plan became rallying cries for a growing army of anons, self-styled truth seekers who dove into these cryptic messages like detectives unraveling a spy thriller. To them, every Q drop was a breadcrumb leading to a hidden reality, a world where Trump was a savior battling a sinister underground network. Fueled by distrust in government, media, and institutions, QAnon didn't just gain traction, it erupted. By 2018, the movement had clawed its way out of 4chan's digital shadows and into the real world. At Trump rallies across America, followers waved signs and wore t-shirts emblazoned with Q, or where we go one, we go all, a slogan lifted from Q drops that screamed unity and defiance. What started as an obscure internet theory had morphed into a mainstream conservative phenomenon, a wildfire stoked by a hunger for meaning in a fractured political landscape. But QAnon wasn't content to stay small. It had bigger, darker tales to tell. QAnon didn't invent conspiracy. It hijacked one and turned it into a blockbuster horror show. Enter PIZZAGATE, the 2016 theory that claimed high-profile Democrats were running a child trafficking ring out of Comet Ping Pong. It was wild and proven and local until QAnon got hold of it. Like a mad scientist stitching together a monster, QAnon took PIZZAGATE's bones and fleshed them out with nightmares straight from a fever dream. Suddenly, it wasn't just about a pizzeria. Q drops painted a picture of a global elite, politicians, CEOs, Hollywood stars, engaged in satanic rituals, abusing and sacrificing children in hidden lairs. The stakes skyrocketed. These weren't just traffickers. They were devil-worshipping fiends harvesting a substance called adrenochrome from their victims' blood. Adrenochrome, a real chemical compound, was spun into a mythical elixir, supposedly a psychoactive drug or anti-aging potion that the powerful craved. The Anons lapped it up, citing evidence like the provocative art of Marina Abramovic, a performance artist whose edgy work was branded as satanic proof of the conspiracy. The narrative was grotesque, thrilling, and utterly unhinged. Celebrities like Kanye West and Ellen DeGeneres found themselves ensnared, their every word and gesture dissected for signs of complicity. QAnon didn't just expand Pizzagate, it detonated it, transforming a localized rumor into a worldwide horror story. Where Pizzagate pointed fingers at a handful of DC insiders, QAnon accused a sprawling network of international elites, politicians from London to Los Angeles, moguls from every corner of the globe. It was no longer a conspiracy you could pin on a map. It was everywhere, inescapable, a shadow stretching across the planet. By 2020, QAnon's reach was jaw-dropping. The theory had gone viral. Literally, Pizzagate-related content resurfaced on TikTok, racking up over 80 million views, as reported by the New York Times. Teenagers and influencers alike were sucked into the vortex, sharing videos that tied hashtags like Save the Children to QAnon's lurid claims. What began as a fringe obsession had become a global phenomenon, its tentacles wrapping around cultures and continents with terrifying speed. The movement's appeal lay in its scope. It wasn't just America's elite under fire. QAnon implicated power players worldwide. European politicians, Hollywood icons, even obscure billionaires were fair game, their names whispered in QAnon forums as part of the cabal. The theory suggested a world where no one was safe, where the rich and famous were united in a secret war against the innocent. To believers, it was a cosmic showdown, good versus evil, with the Anons as the last line of defense. The thrill wasn't just in the accusations, it was in the chase. Q drops were puzzles, each one a dare to decode the next layer of the conspiracy. A tweet from a celebrity, a random news headline, a strange coincidence, all became clues in a game where the stakes were humanity itself. For the Anons, QAnon wasn't just a belief. It was a mission, a secret war fought in the shadows of the internet. And Q, the enigmatic puppet master, kept the fire burning, promising that the storm was coming, a reckoning that would expose the elites and save the world. So, what do you think about Pizzagate? After diving into the leaked emails, the strange coincidences like James Alefantis' Instagram posts, and the wild connections to things like QAnon and even Justin Bieber, does it feel like there could be some truth buried in there? Or do you see it as just another conspiracy theory? A wild story spun out of control on social media that got debunked but won't die? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'm really curious to hear what you think, especially with how it keeps popping up years later, from Elon Musk's tweets to TikTok trends. Thanks for listening.